Good morning, baseball way of lifers. Happy Thursday. How we all doing? How's the baseball world treating you? Hope it's treating you well. Well, today we begin. Yes, the festivities begin. We are going live, hopefully as often as possible, at least once a day, just to talk shop with you. Talk about what's going on in the major leagues, and more importantly, talk about what's going on in baseball, a way of life. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. I promise you. We're going to do what we can to make this work. And all I can say is, let's do this. Let us do this. Uh, it's been a long time coming. I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I said, how can I make group more fun, more interactive? We have almost 10,000 people, like I've said before, in the group. You can't ask for more than that. And your participation in the group has been fun. It's been fantastic. Every day I look forward to hearing and seeing what you guys are writing and talking about. Hopefully my contributions are somewhat fun for you. I would hope so. If not, then let me know. Like I said, any comments whatsoever that you may have, feel free. Please do feel free to reach out and let me hear it. Let me hear it. You can contact me at pilstan41 That's where I'll be. You want to lace it into me? Lace it into me there. But on the air, we're going to be friendly. That's what this group is about. I encourage participation with everybody. That's who I am. That's what the group is about. And I do want this to be the best baseball group out there. Now, I have all kinds of ideas running through my head. If you guys have ideas, please, please, please let me know what they are. And I'm still trying to figure out, navigating here, how to actually see your comments while I'm doing this. I tried it yesterday, and it looks like there's a potential 7-second delay on Facebook with this. Right now, I'm still trying to figure it out, so bear with me. Like I said, I want this to be interactive. I want this to be fun, and hopefully it will be for all concerned. What I have in mind is covering like at least once a day the top stories of baseball to start off the day with, maybe 3, maybe 5 stories a day. And then from that point on, just talking about what's going on in the group. And periodically, hopefully through the day, I'll be able to actually give you some insights on what's going on in the group and what's going on in the baseball world. I think it'll be fun, and I hope you do too. Like I said, this is going to be live, so what you see is what you get. I'm hoping you enjoy it, and we're going to see how this goes. So what do you say I start? This is a dry run here, and we're doing what we can. Okay, the first story I want to talk about is the San Diego Padres. How about those Padres, ladies and gentlemen? They are everything that you thought they would be this year. Looks like they're going to be a 90-plus win team. And what they did to the Dodgers, they swept them this week. Manny Machado, big night for the Padres. His 8th, and San Diego had a big 8th inning rally to spur the victory on. Now, did you know the Padres have won games and series against rival Dodgers over the past decade, but really nothing quite like this? The 3 games in San Diego this week, they were statement victories for the Padres. And how about Petco Park? In your wildest imagination, did you ever see Petco Park being as raucous as it was the last 3 nights? I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the games, but MLB Network was televising them. ESPN was televising one of the games, and that place was as big as a home field advantage as I've ever seen. And you might want to forget about the Dodgers and Giants, having my cup of joe. See, I got a big cup because I need to be prepared for this broadcast. But that was amazing. And the Dodgers-Giants rivalry, it may be challenged by this one. It's geographically closer than San Francisco and Los Angeles. And I don't know about you, but it seems like the Padre fans are out for blood. We're talking about a team now that for 50 years really hasn't done anything, and they've been kind of like the stepsister in California, but they are out for blood, and it's going to be fun. I mean, this is what baseball needs right now. A lot of bad stuff coming out in the baseball world. But when you have a rivalry like this, it's going to be fun, without a doubt. And I am amazed at how I knew this would be a good rivalry. I am just amazed at how it has taken off. I don't know about you, but I love it. I love it. Now let's get back to the game itself, if we may. Manny Machado. Who saw this coming, folks? And you know what? Manny Machado's actually had a pretty damn good career with the Padres since he signed with them, and he's been flying under the radar. And I think the Fernando Tatis hype, and I'm not going to call it hype because he deserves everything he gets, but Manny Machado's actually been flying under the radar with that team, but he is as big as a player as they have. And he is going to be one of the reasons why, if they do have success this year, come postseason time, Manny's going to be a big reason why they're there and why they are having that success. Now, Manny, with 1 out and 2 men aboard in the 9th inning, Albert Pujols, I don't know if you saw it, he hit a shot to the right of Machado, and he snared the ball, and he made an off-balance throw to second baseman Jake Cronenworth, doubling up Will Smith for a game-ending double play. It was the Padres series. It was meant to be. It was Machado series, and he is bad. Machado is bad. When he's on, he is on. And he had a first-inning homer in Monday's series opener to set the tone for the whole series. And he tacked on another first-inning blast on Wednesday, his 5th career in 25 at-bats against Dodger right-hander Trevor Bauer. Now, I know a lot of you fans aren't big Trevor Bauer fans, so you were probably eating that up. Trevor Bauer, either you love him or you hate him. He's a lightning rod, and he's good for the game. Now, Machado was red hot to plate, but he also made a huge impact defensively. He was everywhere. He was making a handful of brilliant plays at third base, another handful in short right field. In the 8th, he came inches from tracking down a Mac Muncy fly ball in right field off the warning track. Unbelievable. I don't know if you saw that, but oh my God. It's basically like playing with 4 outfielders out there. The biggest impact he had probably came on a slow chopper, like I said, in the 8th inning. Turner hesitated, turning to look at second before firing to first. Machado busting it down the line, beat Turner's throw by a step. Now, for those of you who say Machado doesn't hustle, well, he did this time. He knows Machado. People, I don't know why, because maybe sometimes he got angry and didn't hustle a ball out now and then, but he has a good baseball IQ. And you saw this whole series. He, I think, is captain-like. I really do. And I know a lot of people don't think that, but what are you going to do? You can't please everybody, right? But we're getting down to the point in June now where it's going to be tough for all these teams as far as the schedule and everything. So when you have a stadium like Petco Park rocking like it was, and I've watched Padre games and I've fallen asleep on the East Coast when the Mets are out there at 10 o'clock. And oh my God. But there was so much energy there yesterday. It's open to capacity. And since it's open to capacity, to show you what a home field it's been, the Padres have won 7 games since they've gone with open full capacity. Now, there's still a long way to go in the NL West race. I know that. You know that. But believe it or not, the Giants are in first place and the Dodgers trail them by 4.5 games. Who expected that? I personally thought the Dodgers were going to challenge the Seattle Mariner record of 116 wins in a season. But it's been amazing. And it'll be another 2 months, unfortunately, till the Padres face either their 2 primary division rivals. The Dodgers don't come back to Petco Park till August 24th, and they've got ground to make up. Now, like I said, the Padres are 4.5 out. The Dodgers are 4 out. But I think after this series, the Padres are going to believe that they can beat anybody, and I think they can. I know, like I said, I'm a big Met fan. When they came into Citi Field, I was worried. I said, this team is due to break out. Uh, I don't know how you guys felt, but I just think this is crazy this year. And with the National League West, with the Giants playing the way they are, can baseball get any better? I know a lot of people are complaining about, the spot checks with the pitchers and everything. But to me, this is baseball at its best. You give me those National League West games, and yeah, I'll even take the Anaheim Angels where you got the Shohei show and Trout. It's unfortunate these games are played so late all the time, but I guess that's the nature of the beast. When you're out in California, you got to play at 7:30 to take care of your faithful. But I am impressed. I am impressed, really, really impressed by the quality of ball out in the West Coast. And you got the Oakland A's. You hate to say it, but the West Coast may be the baseball capital of the world now. I don't know how you feel, but that's how I'm feeling. That's how Uncle Stan's feeling. Now, what else is going on in baseball, you say? Well, a lot of things. There's just so many to touch on. I don't know what to do next. What should I do? What should I do? What story should I cover next? Okay. How about Shohei Ohtani? Has he been a popular discussion piece of late? You bet he has. And Shohei Ohtani is doing it all. And yesterday, it was kind of an historic day because he pitched against the Giants and he wasn't the DH. He actually was in the lineup as a position player who could bat as a pitcher. So that kind of made history yet again on Wednesday when he started on the mound and hit for himself against the Giants with the designated hitter rule in place. Now, it marked the first time in Major League history an American League team chose not to use a DH while a National League team utilized one. How about that? I mean, you talk about fun stuff in baseball. That's definitely fun stuff in baseball. And I'm trying to see, bear with me, like I said, I'm new, so I'm using my mobile here to see if I'm up and live in the group. I sure hope I am. Hope I'm not dead in the group. But anyway, I see we are up and live. And again, I think it's like a 7-minute delay, 7-second delay or 10-second delay. So if you have comments or anything, please do. Please do come out and say them. All right, here we go. Okay, we got James Ferris and Kika Cruz and watching. All right, good to see you guys aboard. All right, so this is working. I'm just going to have to look down on my phone every now and then when I'm speaking to you, so I hope you don't mind that. But getting back to Shohei Ohtani, he didn't disappoint. He threw 6 strong frames, but unfortunately the Halos lost 9-3 in 13 innings, and game that lasted nearly 5 hours at Angel Stadium. So if you on the East Coast stayed up to watch that game, my hat's off to you if you're up this early in the morning watching this. He now has a 2.58 ERA, Shohei does, with 82 strikeouts and 59 1/3 innings this year. The lone run he gave up came up on a solo homer from Mike Yastrzemski in the 5th. Ohtani, and who's looking forward to this? I know I am. He is set to participate in the T-Mobile Home Run Derby at Colorado's Coors Field on July 2nd. Now, unfortunately, at the plate, he went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Kevin Gausman. But that's no surprise there because Kevin Gausman is pitching like you would not believe this year. What a find he's been, hasn't he? Oh, my goodness. Kevin Gausman. When you're going right, you're going right. Everything's going right for the Giants. Now, it was hot out there, I think, for Ohtani, and his velocity was down a little bit early in the game, and his 7-pitch to game was a 90-mile-per-hour 4-seam fastball. But he was picking up his speed as the game went along. But he ran into some trouble after Yastrzemski's home run. Talk about a baseball story. How about Mike Yastrzemski? What a late bloomer. Cheers, Mike. I have to take a sip of coffee, and I'm going to do it nodding you and your accomplishments the last couple of years with the Giants. Well, Ohtani put runners on with one out, but struck out Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford to escape the jam with a fastball reaching as high as 99.2 miles per hour. Ohtani said, the beginning game, my body felt heavy. It was hard to move around, and that probably was why the velo wasn't there. But as the game got going, I felt better and better, and the velo went up. Now, Ohtani surprisingly came back for the sixth inning, despite already being at a season-high pitch count of 94 pitches. That is kind of high. And like Joe Madden said, he's going to push the envelope with Shohei. And I guess he really is. But Ohtani registered a 1-2-3 inning, including a strikeout of Mauricio Dubon to end the frame. Now, he threw 105 pitches in 6 innings, which was the second highest total of his career, and his most since throwing 110 pitches on May 10, 2018 against the Rays. He poured it out there, and at the end, he even got better, and he was throwing harder, Angels manager Joe Madden said. He really wanted to do it. Also, it's one of those things when you get stretched out like that, you know you can do it again. I thought everything was in order for him to do it. Now, the Angels considered not having Ohtani hit on Wednesday as they had a short bench with left fielder Justin Upton out there with lower back tightness. It worked out early, as Ohtani got through 6 innings and batted 3 times before being replaced by reliever Mike Myers in the 7th. It ended up costing the Angels in the 12th, however, as catcher Kurt Suzuki was injured on a foul tip off his mask with nobody out. With the Angels out of position players, Taylor Ward had to move in from left field as an emergency catcher. Pitcher Griffin Canning replaced Ward in left. Ward was originally drafted as a catcher and caught professionally in 2017, but saw action at the position this year in spring training. The Giants took the lead on an RBI double from Steven Duggar, but Canning never had any balls hit the way, and Ward fared fine as catcher that inning. Canning, though, had to lead off the bottom of the inning and successfully drop down a sacrifice bunt. It helped set up the game-tying RBI from Juan Alagares, one of my favorite Mets. What a great defensive center fielder he was earlier in the decade with the orange and blue. Now, Alagares was later thrown out the plate on a play that saw him originally ruled safe before the call was overturned after a replay review. Madden was a little upset about that. He felt it was too close of a play to overturn a walk-off win. And he said, I don't think there was anything close to overturn it. It was that simple. Now, Dylan Bundy was forced to try to keep the rally alive, but he struck out to end the inning. The Giants really poured it on in the 13th with runs coming on a bases loaded walk and a wild pitch before Duggar brought home 2 runs with a single to right, and Mike Talkman slammed a 3-run blast. Madden explained his rationale for using Canning in left and still liked his team's effort despite the disappointing loss. Canning was the most athletic and ready, Madden said, but he didn't look great in the outfield. I'm sorry, he said he did look great in the outfield. Flawless, and in the bunt, he almost beat it out. Good for him. And Bundy took a good rip at the last one. And then you have TW catching. Madden said he was pleased with the guys. That was tremendous effort from beginning to end. We have to get better in situations, obviously, against good teams, and you have to take advantage of certain situations, and we did not. And he was happy about it. So, what a wild and crazy one. I'm just trying to recap that in case you missed it. Now, what I'm also going to do here on these YouTube casts, let me know if you like it, is go over some of the things we are discussing as a group. And you guys always have so much to contribute as a group, and I love it, love it, love it. Now, one of the things we always do is we have one I say. It's either one I say about a player, a ballpark, what have you, a baseball personality. One that really caught my attention, you guys had so many good answers to, was when I say Comiskey Park, what's the first thing that pops into your head? You guys had a lot of good answers, and kudos to you. Kudos, I say. And what were some of those answers? Oh, boy, I'm freezing up here. I got to have a production meeting with my staff, which consists of me, myself, and I. I had it here for a second. I should do like on a rain delay to keep you better entertained. Let's watch Met highlights from 1973 until we figure out the technical glitches. But that's not going to stop me. Forward ho, I say. I love those hoes. Let's go forward with those hoes. Forward ho. Anyway, let's get back into the groove. Let's get back into the baseball groove, back into New York groove. What do you say, Ace Frehley? Here we go. This is what happens when you work with Wi-Fi and a slow internet connection. I know you guys feel my pain, and I thank you for that. Okay, like I said, once it reloads here, we'll be good to go. And that could be sometime in the next century. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. Who knows? Oh my God, is my connection slow? Anyway, here we go. It was when I say Comiskey Park, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Well, I'll tell you what pops into my head. What pops into my head is Bill Veeck. What pops into my head is a small ballpark where if you had a seat where there wasn't a pole in the way, you got to see one hell of a game. If you had a pole, you got to see half the game. I remember one time, I think in 1986, me and a couple friends went out to Comiskey Park. We used to like to go to Chicago around the 4th of July. They had the big festival out there in Grant Park. And we'd always scheduled around. We always had to see baseball when we were out there. So it was fireworks night against the White Sox when we went. And we landed that day on a 4th of July. It might have been like on a weekday, like Thursday, because I know we were there for the weekend. And that game was the first one we saw. So we went to one of these outlets where they actually sell tickets for these games in the city. And we bought tickets. Guy, oh, you'll be right by first base. Well, we were right by first base. But you know what? So was the foul pole right by first, the pole that held up the stands right by first base. So when we got there, we got to see my left leg and right kneecap got a good view of the game. My head was looking straight ahead at a pole, but we moved around and we had fun that day. But so many things about Comiskey Park that you guys talked about, like Todd, excuse me, we all have great names in this group. But I may mispronounce some of them, but Kevin Crane says, I have a Comiskey Park seat. Kevin, can I fit in that seat? I'm like 195 pounds. I remember when I was about 150 pounds, I couldn't fit in that seat. Mike Biondillo says, Chi-Town history. Brad Bell says, when it was a game. Rob Homa says, Andy the Clown, and also that day when they waited 7 hours for rain to stop before calling the game. Bernie Okar says, baseball shrine. Robert Hinshaw, good historian there, Robert. He says, first sight of the MLB All-Star Game, 1933. John Francis, well, puts it bluntly, his favorite park. Todd Flanagan, Disco Demolition Night. And I think that has to be one of the ones that everyone remembers if they were alive at the time. That was crazy. Don Hubb says Rat Trap. Richard Sanders says 2005 Champions. Marcus Doc Anderson says Exploding Scoreboard. Rick Mock says my dad's team and two brothers, my mom's team and two brothers, and I are Cub fans. My first of two souvenir balls was Lamar Johnson. Who remembers Lamar? Throwing me one after Rob Piccolo hit a ground ball as a 10-year-old. Craig Heist, he has a good memory. He says Tito Landrum off Britt Burns in the 83 LCS Game 4. Jeff Kallman, Jeff knows his baseball. He says Casey Stengel leading a group of Yankees out of the visiting dugout, holding 4th of July-like sparklers to zap the exploding scoreboard after a Yankee hit one out. Max Brand brings back one of the great All-Star memories. Fred Wynn's grand slam in the 83 All-Star Game. That was the American League's first win since 71, so that was pretty big at the time. Eric Field, he's got an appetite for baseball food. He says the steak sandwiches. Carl Morton, Motern says, I saw it on drive-bys and flyovers, but sadly, never saw a game there. Never. Never. Say it ain't so. Anyway, Paul Cherry sums it up best. He gave a good reply here. He was pretty detailed. Obstructed view seats, agreed. Shower in center field, exploding scoreboard, Black Sox scandal, Dick Allen, Little Louie, rooftop homers, Ron Kittle, disco demolition, Falstaff beer, ugh, many rock concerts, Southside Hitmen, and most important, the site of my major league ball game. Paul, I think we found the Comiskey Park fan in you. Brett Branford says, wish it were still there. Don't we all? I'm not a big fan of these ball. I'm turning into one of these get off my lawn type of guys. I like the comfort of the game, but when I was a kid, I loved the old ballparks. Like I always said, if I was 18 and I go to Comiskey Park, the old Comiskey Park and Shea Stadium, I loved it then. But I think as you get older, you kind of want the comfort. But what are you going to do? Donald Owen, pretty blunt here. I love it. He says the ugliest ballpark in the major leagues until Comiskey 2 was built. Then that became the ugliest ballpark in the major leagues. Little friendly rivalry here because Brett Rain says, no, that would be the Rat's Nest, Wrigley Field. Love little banter here. Lance Smith said, took my older son to his first game there. Much better experience in Wrigley Field the following week. Old Comiskey had charm, doesn't deserve the bad rap it gets. Norman Kyle remembers the Andy Hawkins no-hitter. Who remembers that? What a weird no-hitter that was. Maybe we'll do that as a topic of conversation one day. And David Brown said it best when he said, a beam in the way of some play for every seat. I think that's what kind of made it special. You were always obstructed by something in there, weren't you? Now we were discussing, Alan Warner made a post about the whole controversy with Joe Girardi and Max Scherzer. They got into a stare down after Joe Girardi requested umpire to check Scherzer for foreign substance for a third time. Now, Girardi was ejected after the altercation. What are my thoughts on that? I think sometimes Joe could be a little dramatic, and he can be a little hot-headed. And I think it was kind of uncalled for what he did. But this whole thing with checking the pitchers, I think that's a little bit ridiculous too. I mean, when guys were hitting home runs that were going 550 feet, were they checking the bats? Were they doing drug tests before every game? If you want to check a guy, check him if you think he threw something suspicious. Then you go out there. And if here's me, okay. Stop. Page Rob Manfred, get him in the group and let him hear what I have to say. My philosophy behind this is if you get caught or under suspicion of getting caught and the other team challenges it and they can't find anything, they'll just be like a review challenge. You're allowed 4 challenges, whether they be review or substance challenges. And if the challenges proves that, yes, the player did not have any substance on him, then you're marked with a challenge denied, and you're allowed 4 challenges denied. So it's either going to be through review or substance, because we can't let this go. It's ludicrous. I don't know if you saw the Romo incident where he dropped his drawers, Scherzer, DeGrom. I think DeGrom even put a note that said, yes, I'm that good. But basically, he doesn't have to cheat. I'm not that good. Well, as far as this, Tim Keenan said, typical punk-ass move by someone from Philly. Well, I'm not a big fan of smashing Philly, but it was a punk-ass move, but I don't think it had anything to do with Philly. And Jeff Ritter said, once a skank, always a skank. So there you have it. Then I asked, what players had the most unique batting stance? And you guys came up with some really, really good ones. And like I said, my hat's off to you guys because you guys really, I got to admit, we have some of the most knowledgeable baseball fans out there. And I can't thank you enough for that because you make this such a pleasurable experience every day. And some of them are classic. They bring back such good memories. Like Dick Hatton brought up Mickey Tettleton. Anthony Tupper brought up Craig Counsell. And we had some really, really good ones. Who are some of the ones that, of course, Captain Obvious says Carl Yastrzemski, and that would be me, Captain Obvious. Who didn't imitate Yaz when he came up to the plate? So, like I said, so many great players who had unique stances. And that's what makes the game great. I think every kid in their backyard imitated the players who had unique stances. I know I was probably one of them. I love Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan was one of my who didn't do the chicken flap when Joe Morgan came up, or Pop Stargell twirling the bat around. That was fun. You got to admit that was fun. And who else? I'm waiting for this to unload. And again, I apologize. It's taken me so long to actually get this going here with the uploading. I hope this doesn't happen on a regular basis. If it is, you have the right to come and shoot me at my place of residence. I won't give you my address. If you need to shoot me that bad, please come and get me. But who else? Julio Franco says Tony Barker. Wes Covington. Now, there's a name from the past. Tony Coulter. Greg Ebb says Brian Downing before his time, Stan Musial. Steve Reuter. Horace Clark. Remember Haas? Who didn't love Haas? Jay Gothro. Jay knows his baseball history. Mela. Mike Garcia says Tony Batista. Kurt Hyde. Jeff Bagwell. Who remembers Jeff's unique stance? Valentino Garcia. It sounds like a movie star name. Nice name there, Valentino. It says Kevin Youkilis. Charles Christopher English. Rod Carew. Yeah, that's another one we imitated back in the old schoolyard. Russ Genrich says Carney Lansford. Jim Berlusconi's in a little bit of a rut here because he can't pick between Jeff Bagwell, Julio Franco, or Disco Dan Ford. Well, Jim, they're all good answers. Fred Cousins says Yaz. John Francis, classic one. Bobby Tolan, remember how he used to hoist that bat up? Miami Yankee Stadium at bat day when Bob Sharp said, "Please hoist your butts gently," and you would hoist your bat. John Francis with a good one. Eric Bledsoe, this could be a good question one day. I love his response. He says, you could put a positional lineup together of unique stances. That would be a fun poll. Start with a catcher and go through 3 outfielders and a DH. Eric, I may take you up on that one. Good one. And then Floyd Lark says Oscar Gamble. Scott McGregor says Tito Fuentes. George Dillio, Rocky Nelson. And we have, Rick Hughes says, how about Dick McCall or Matty Alou? Glenn Moreland brings up Gates Brown. Ian Katz, the Hawk. Todd Whaler, Roy White. That was another one I imitated. Jim Hutton. How could I not forget about Ricky Henderson? That's a good one. John Walkenfuss from Dan Malloy. Sepia Prince, Tim Tuffle. I guess he's doing the Tim Tuffle shuffle. I need a cup of coffee, so I'll salute the Tim Tuffle shuffle. That felt good. Mariano Baldini, Eddie Murray. Terrence Brennan, Willie McGee. Willie McGee was fun. And I love this one from Terrence Brennan, Eddie Geidel. I don't think there's few who could imitate Eddie Geidel's stance. It was a short one. Get that one. Anyway, Fred Girardi says Gil McDougall. Oh, no. Susan Neroni Eller. No reflection on her. Brings up the human rain delay, Mike Hargrove. Ooh, that could be painful. Jim Rogeberg says Stan Lapata. Steve Scanlon comes in with Rico Cate. Who remembers Rico? He was a hell of a hitter. He's basically been forgotten, but he was unbelievable. And let's see what else is going on in the big greatest group in the world, the group that you guys belong to. And if you're not a member and you're just watching this on YouTube, what the hell is your problem? Sign up and let's get with it. Let's get with it. Okay, thank you. Uh, it's baseball, a way of life. Now I ask a question of, do you think Bobby Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame? Well, the majority has said no. And I'll read some of the comments. Some of them are very interesting, well thought out replies, and I thank you for that. Herminio, so with Jan Renewey. Jan's always on the ball. I love Jan and his analysis. He came and said, I think he was better than most realized, but still a tough case. And I agree with I got to give credit to Jan. He is so objective. He is not subjective, and we love having him in the group. And Jeff Coleman's another one. We just love. I love Jeff in the group. He comes in and says the elder Bonds had issues of his own that prevented him from making a solid Hall of Fame case. Though he didn't miss making the cut as a peak value Hall of Famer by much. He was one of the best power speed combinations in the game in his time, and maybe the best when healthy and not finding his demons in the bottle. He had some. I'm going away from Jeff's quote here, but it's unfortunate. But Barry did have a drinking problem. I mean, Bobby did have a drinking problem, and he also said he was a very astute judge of baseball talent when he finally became a coach later in life. Jim Dickinson said, I saw his entire Giants career and he was something else. Unreal speed when he hit a triple. He was jinxed from the get-go, being dubbed the next Willie Mays. He still produced on the field. I never knew back then, but so many have said he had a drinking problem and that was why he was traded. What the guy who was supposed to replace Willie Mays had some personal issues? Question mark. And I agree. I remember he was supposed to be the next Willie Mays, and that's a lot of pressure for anybody. It's just tough when that happens. Robert Hinshaw has a good memory. He says Bonds hit his grand slam in his first major league at bat. And Leon DeHaven always comes in when saying he was considered. Yeah, Leon, we get it. Kevin Morrissey, without question, he was a Hall of Famer before roids. But then Glenn Shear chipped in and said, this is the father, not Barry. Oh, then Kevin Morrissey comes back and says, oh, half the thing. That's okay. I always get those two confused. Sometimes I get the names confused. Alex Tessitore is one of the greatest combinations of power and speed along with his son. And then John Keenan came out and said, maybe if you double his career stats. He left a smiley. That's a good reply. Kevin Strem says, I enjoy watching him play. But not Hall of Fame good. He had his demons. Howard Millman says 30-30 man. Matt Prozilek says no, very, very good player. 300 homers and 300 steals is impressive, but numbers aren't even close. Herminio Miles says yes, players with less stats are in. Why not Papa Bonds? Maurice Doe says yes, as he was very versatile and had some good numbers while a Giant. Good answers all. Good answers. And this is why you guys rock it, baby. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Now I asked, this was a fun one I did. I always do the baseball family feud type questions. And one of them was, who do you want to see in the home run derby this year? All right. No, I take that back. I should actually remember what I'm saying. I said, what former player would you like to see in the home run derby? That's what it was. And let me get to the answers here. How am I doing so far? Huh? People, talk to me. Anyway. Little glitch here again. We're going to have to work out these kinks. And I'm not talking about Ray and Dave Davies. I'm talking about the kinks with this site. Maybe I'll sing a kink song for you. I'm waiting for everything to load up. Lola. Hello, Lola. La 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 Lola. Okay. I guess I do the singing even worse than that. Uh, you know what? We'll get back to that. That's what we do. We'll consider this rain out theater and just get back to that. When it rains, it pours, doesn't it, folks? Oh, you know what I want to talk about? How about the Baltimore Orioles and their 33-year-old rookie, Mickey Jannis? Made his major league debut in the big loss to the Orioles, the Astros yesterday. But he did get his big league moment. Now, he's the third oldest rookie in Oriole history, and he tossed 3 1/3 innings in the series finale against the Astros. Now, since being drafted in the 44th round of the 2010 MLB draft, he spent time with both the Rays and Mets organizations, played in independent leagues and overseas before signing with the O's in free agency in 2020. You got to admire a guy like this, his dedication to the game, to hang out and try to thrive in the minor leagues all these years, hoping for your big shot. It speaks volumes for him, and it was good to see him get that opportunity. Now, it was good to see that he almost had a whole section made up of family and friends chanting his name and cheering him on the 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th innings. And he was just trying to hold the deficit that the Orioles had. He tossed a scoreless 5th inning, striking out Jordan Alvarez. Need more coffee. Hold on, folks. More coffee. The first batter he faced, a flyout, a walk, and a caught stealing would end the inning for Jannis, who threw just 13 pitches in the frame. When the 6th came around, Jannis would face a very hot top of the Astros order, including Jose Altuve and Michael Brantley. And after allowing the single to Martin Maldonado and issuing a free pass to Altuve, Jannis tossed the knuckleball to the inside of the plate that Brantley smacked for an RBI single. Sometimes the ball dances, sometimes it doesn't. And that's the life of a knuckleballer, I guess. And Alvarez must have gotten a good look at the knuckleballer stuff the first time around, since he smacked a 448-foot homer with an exit velocity of 112 miles per hour at the top of the 7th. So when you can hit a knuckleball that hard, that's amazing. It was the second homer of the inning, as a 3-run shot to left center. From the second homer of the inning was a 3-run shot to left center from Abraham Toro. So I guess he filled the bill. You know, he pitched the innings they needed him, but he did allow 7 runs over 3 1/3 innings. But you know what? He's a major league player, and congrats on making the bigs. And I'm sure it was a thrill despite the circumstances. And let's put it simply, it's tough to pitch. It is tough to pitch these days in the major leagues and for the Baltimore Orioles. It's a tough team, and I hope, I'm seeing Matt Harvey struggle. I just don't want to see that team keep struggling. I really don't. Now, one of the things that you guys were vehement about, I asked the poll, do you want to see the 7-inning doubleheader continue beyond this season? Well, 45 of you said no. 3 said yes. So I think that says it all in that regard. I'll give you some of the comments that were said. Michael Weaver said, it's not true baseball robs the fans and deprives a pitcher of being credited with no hitters. Nothing good about it. Eric McDowell said, I don't mind the 7-inning doubleheader, but I hate the runner on second extra inning rule. Robert M. Kronk says, Bush League. Gary Olbenthal says, the players really like him. So I guess it's a matter of choice. I think the 7-inning games are pretty exciting, actually, but I'm a purist. I think baseball should be played 9 innings every time out. I can see why it's not being played that way today, 9-inning doubleheaders, because look at all the pitchers that are getting hurt. They're desperate for arms now in the major leagues. But I will say this, a 7-inning game is exciting. I just don't know. It's going to rewrite the history books on everything if you do it. I do think it makes the game more intense, but then there should be a league with just 7-inning baseball, not Major League Baseball. The game was invented to play 9 innings. I don't want to see the game reinvented. I'm not sure about you. That's just how I feel. Uh, call me an old man. Call me a guy who's living in the past. Whatever you want to do. But it is what it is. Now I was asking, what former player would you like to see participate in All-Star Home Run Derby? Well, I just had good answers. Jay Friedenberg gave my answer. The Babe Ruth, Mark Masillo, Willie Stargell, Tony Coulter, Jimmy Fox. Jimmy Fox really flies under the radar. I know baseball purists love him, but if it was for Babe Ruth, he would have been the man. Alec Tessitore with the great answer. Josh Gibson. I don't know if it's urban myth, but they're saying he could hit the ball farther than anybody. Ray Hack, he loves the Hanks. He wants to see Hank Greenberg and Hank Aaron. Mike Cambruzzi, interesting combo. Dave Kingman and Josh Gibson. Ian Katz, Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski. Cal Nakakna, Mickey Mantle. Warren Foss says Reggie. Enough said. He's like Madonna. Just say Reggie. You know who you're talking about. Sandra Lee McCracken says not only Johnny Bench, but Johnny's Bench specifically in the year 1970. He did it all that year, didn't he? Todd says, Flanagan says, Willie, ... Mays, that is. Well, I think we knew who you meant. I mean, there's Stargell and I'm sure a couple other Willies, but we kind of know who you meant. John Francis says, Greg Luzinski. I guess John has memories of that cracking in the Liberty Bell by Greg out in the old Veterans Stadium. Bill Filippione has a good choice, good Fab Five here. Willie McCovey, Frank Howard, Dave Kingman, Willie Stargell, Harmon Killebrew. Billy Smith says the Duke, Dave Kirby. He loved the Bo, man, and he's going with Bo Jackson. David Beasley, too. They both answered just Bo. We know who you're talking about. Pete Head says Josh Hamilton. Remember Josh Hamilton's home run derby in Yankee Stadium? Oh, my. Paul Millette says Ken Phelps. I wonder if George Costanza is a fan of that one, the Costanzas. Russ Genrich, Sadahara with a number one. It would have been nice to see against Aaron in their prime. Wouldn't it have been? Jim Shade says Mickey Mantle. Mickey of those 500-foot home runs, right? Adam Woods, Glenn Allen Hill. I know he hit a few monsters in his day. Richard George Beaver says Eddie Geidel. I wonder if he could win one of those. I think he may come up a little bit short on that. Kevin Fitzgerald says Ted Williams, Willie Mays. Harold Zinnershine says Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox. Daniel Moore. I guess he wants this held in Petco Park because he says Bartolo. William Butts, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox. And Cliff Archer, Ichiro Suzuki or Wade Boggs, both routinely put on BP home run shows. Good choices all, my friends. Good choices all. And here's another one I said. When I say the Chicago White Sox, what is the first thing that pops into your head? A lot of things popped into your head. I mean, the White Sox are a traditional team. And Derek Troy says, my dad's favorite player growing up was Billy Pierce. Juan Manuel Aponte, Comiskey Park. We just discussed Comiskey. Rob Spat says 2005. Yes, that was the year, wasn't it? Paul Maini says Black Sox. Rick Cordisco said the red uniforms in the 70s. Michael Dorr goes back in history and says American League 1901 founding team. Gary Sarnoff, some very cool logos. Greg Lammers goes back to one of the dark days in team history when he says throwing the 1919 World Series, despite being one of the better paid teams in the American League. Thomas Babluski says 1912 to 1917. Mark Schickendas says Bill Veck. Rick Kekula says Chicago's Southside AL team. Solid teams. Tommy Mays says the 1932 to 1938 logo is legit. Don Laub says first World Series I was aware of was 1959 White Sox versus Dodgers. I was 8 years old. My first Major League game was the next year, White Sox versus Yankees. Steve White references Dan Patrick by saying, I heard Dan Patrick talk about the White Sox years ago. Is something along the lines, I think the White Sox are like eggplant. I don't hate them, but I don't necessarily like them. They're just there. So when I think of the White Sox, Steve says, I think of eggplant. Now, that is probably the most unique answer we've gotten. Way to go. Marvin Duchot says, Wingsock is favorite logo. Robert Hinshaw says, wearing shorts in the summer in the 70s, wearing black and white uniforms. Who remembers those? Danny Frazier, shoeless Joe Jackson. Jim Desroche says, shorts and collared shirts, worst unis ever. And that's some of the fun stuff we're talking about in the group. Now I'm going to give you guys a break, let you enjoy your day. This is the first of, I hope, many, 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 many more YouTube casts to come. Like I said, it's a work in progress. What I want you to do is subscribe. So when I do something, it'll be updated. You'll get an update on YouTube right away that something's up. Like I said, in the morning, I'm just going to do one of these recaps of what's been going on in the group, capture some of the highlights of the past day. And occasionally during the day, I'll throw in something if it catches my mind, and I think I should share it with you. So please do subscribe. It means a lot to me. You guys are really, really rocking this. I mean, what you've done to this group is beyond my expectations. We're almost 10,000 strong. And when I say we have the best, most knowledgeable baseball fans out there, I do mean it. I really, really do. And I wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't so great. It gives me inspiration to do it. And I hope what I do is worth my efforts and you're enjoying it. And I hope we can make this. Like I said, years from now, we'll look back at this first couple broadcasts and laugh. Like Bruce Springsteen says, someday we'll look back on all this and it'll all seem funny. Because we're going to make this the best ever. Just like when the group started, we were laying the footprint down and trying to figure out what we were going to do. And 2.5 years later, a well-oiled machine. I want this to be a well-oiled machine that we all can enjoy. So if you have any comments, please send them to philstan41@gmail.com. I'd be glad to hear from you. And like I said, please subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. YouTube recognizes that. And we'll become a prominent force in the YouTube world. That's what I'm hoping. And I hope you're along for the ride. So enjoy the day. I know we got the Yankees at 1 o'clock today. I'm not sure if there's any other afternoon baseball, but I know that's on MLB Network and the S Network here in the New York area. So we'll start off the day. I think there's baseball, like MLB Network has like 3 games on today. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Enjoy the day. Good baseball ahead. There's always good baseball ahead. Every day is a great baseball day. Even during the off season, we talk baseball here, and we love it. And again, thanks again so much for watching. We'll talk soon. If not today, early tomorrow with another recap like this. Or maybe I'll check in later. Who knows? Have a great day. Talk soon.